Okay. All right. We're doing a little air conditioner repair today. You can see I've got a fan laid on top of my AC unit. There's a reason for that, of course. The other night my AC got hot. And it quickly got me out of bed as I started to sweat. And I started, oh man, I get dressed, get my headlamp on, come out here and see what's going on. I could hear that the compressor was on, but the fan was not spinning at all. So I had no fan, but I had a compressor running. Everything was getting really hot. There was no air movement in the AC unit outside. Being a car mechanic for years, you know that if you have a condenser fan that's not blowing across the condenser in the radiator, you don't have any heat exchange, and your AC is not going to cool properly. It's going to cause things to overheat, and eventually it'll burn the air conditioning compressor up from running too much high head pressure. So I stuck a shop fan on here, and this thing has been on here for over a week. I ordered a capacitor, a startup capacitor for the fan and compressor. There's usually two sides to a cap. One side will start the fan, the other side will start the compressor. And you know the compressor's working because the AC's been running with this shop fan sitting on top. I've got it blowing down. They normally draw up, but I've got it blowing down, and it's coming out, and it's working just fine like that. You can see it's condensating. I've already took the covers off, so this is the capacitor. I've got the power turned off inside. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this fan off because this is turned off already, and I'm also going to pull my breaker. So no, there's no power coming in. I'm going to take a picture of how I have my wires going in, and I jumped on Amazon and I got a startup capacitor for like 20 bucks. This is the same part numbers as the one we've got on here. So in a pinch, if your capacitor goes out or your fan motor goes out, I'm hoping it's the capacitor, not the fan motor, because I have not tested it. There is a process where you can test it with a amp meter, ohm meter, voltmeter, multimeter, and there's plenty of videos out there showing you how to do that. I'm not going to show you how to do that on this. The startup capacitor is so cheap, I just went ahead and bought one to throw on there. If it's not it, I'll have one for a spare, and I'll get an electric fan motor for it, but I'm pretty sure it's the capacitor. At my old house, I had that go out twice. We were there 12 years. Within that 12-year span, I had two startup capacitors go out on the AC unit, and that's all it was to fix it. One time I did it myself. The other time was on a Sunday, and it was really hot out, and I had people over, and I got a AC guy to come out, and it charged me like 280 bucks to put a $20 part on because it was a Sunday, but I had to do what I had to do. In this case, it's the fan not running. The other cases, it was the compressor side not running. So I'll swap this thing out real quick. I did take this lid off, and I hand spun the motor. The first night I was running into this, I put a long screwdriver down in there, and I tried to spin the motor, but it was trying to turn on. I felt a lot of resistance, so I thought the motor was bad. I'm hoping I don't have a bad motor. There's my dog, doesn't know who I am. But it's not. It's a startup capacitor, I'm hoping, because with no power on it, the fan motor spins nice and free. So I'm hoping there's no problem with the fan motor, and it's just this cap. And this is what the startup capacitor looks like. Got Herm. This is for the compressor, and this is the fan side. It says fan, and I believe common is your power coming in. This is the power going out. power going out. So we're gonna swap this thing out real quick. Shouldn't take but just a minute. I got all the power out, which also, these things store energy, so you want to make sure you don't get shocked. You want to make sure you got all your power off. I'm not sure what that one does. I'm hoping I don't need that. So basically, I'm just going to switch all my wires, just like this one is, and rock and roll. Plug it back up, throw the power back to it, see if this fan motor turns on. I'll plug up my power, run inside and throw the air conditioner thermostat back on cool, and see how this does. All right, we've got a fan running. I gotta put my screws back in where I pulled the lid off, and hopefully that thing will keep on trucking for us. And it's not the quietest thing in the world. We've been in this house a little over 4 years. It may be time for a fan motor as well. It's not the quietest operating motor in the world. I'm going to see if it'll cycle on and off. I may end up putting a fan motor on it as well. Basically, I wanted to show you in this video that in a pinch, if your fan's not working, you can throw a fan on top. But if you have the fan blowing up where it's trying to suck air out of the compressor, I tried that with that first. And it overheated my fan motor on that, and I had to turn that off, let it cool off, and I flipped it up where it's blowing down in the unit and out of the coil or condenser, and it worked fine like that for a while. So it's just a quick fix for a failing air conditioner. That thing is a little on the noisy side. I don't have any of the screws in the lid. That may be part of it. I'll maybe put a fan motor in this thing as well. We'll see.